Sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Scorpion TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks, or watch thousands of movies on demand, all for just $45 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Scorpion TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Scorpion TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Scorpion TV logo. Don't forget our promo code ESPN NW.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Now back to the Inside Drive. Live and local from the Gulf Plus studios. It's the next evolution of Sports Talk Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hello, friends. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. The Masters theme was playing in my head while I was saying that, so it all worked out good there. But you are listening to The Inside Drive. I'm back in studio, at least for a couple days this week before I make the trip up to the University of Duke. Hopefully the doctors are not too upset about that collapse there at the end of the game. But good luck to the Houston Cougars and the Florida Gators tonight.
I didn't even think about that. I was like, what do you mean? Oh,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
there you go.
Yep. Oh, yes. So hopefully they're not too upset. The original plan was to pick up some Duke gear on, somewhere, maybe right when we got there and wore it to show our support. But obviously that didn't come to fruition, as we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Well, you don't have to wear Auburn stuff either.
No, I don't.
So, there you go.
They also, I wish there wasn't halftime sometimes, because as soon as that
momentum change, the adjustments coaches can make. Yeah,
it's brutal. We'll talk a lot about that there in the second segment segment. Got a lot of stuff to talk about here in this first segment. We'll be joined at 11:40 by my friend Al Carl, who was there. He's the lead ice technician for the Washington Capitals. He was there for the 2-goal performance by Ovi in the last home game where he tied Gretzky's record. And then, of course, we got to talk about Gretzky's record falling yesterday. So disappointed that I was not watching it live when it happened, when Ovi scored a great goal nonetheless.
The celebration lasted like half an hour.
Oh, yeah. I pulled my phone up and it said delayed. I was like, yeah, they're having the big. Because you have to. When a record like that, it's like when, I think the same thing happened when Bonds broke the home run record, right? They kind of.
Steph Curry with the 3-point record,
LeBron with a point,
But this is one of them. I mean, the home run record is a huge one, regardless of how you feel about the situation with Bonds and the steroids. In that moment, it was incredible and still is. But to catch up to a guy like Wayne Gretzky is it's something that we probably won't witness again.
No, I highly, if you look at the trend of the goals that were broke, like the first record was Maurice the Rocket Richard at like 300 and some odd. That got broken by Gordie Howe, which was like 500 and some odd. And then Gretzky broke Gordie Howe's record, and Gordie Howe was there at that game as well. And then the next obviously was Gretzky, and then he kept going for a while. And now the fact that Ovechkin broke the record in the same amount of games is insane.
It is insane.
The comparison when you start looking at all those things. And also, both records were broken against the New York Islanders, which is wild.
Fun fact of the day.
Yes. Saw a lot of memes about the Islanders yesterday, basically saying, more people, that was the first time everybody's sold out an Islanders game was because Ovi was there to break the record. Not obviously being serious, but we'll talk a little bit more about that record when we have Al join us at 11:40. But it is indeed Masters Week. Hard to believe it's here, but excited that it is. And the Hello Friends, for those that didn't know, I didn't know this till this morning, that was a way for Jim Nantz to connect with his father, who at the time, when he started doing this, he's now passed away, was suffering from Alzheimer's, and to find a moment of calm and connection before going on the air. So he would say, hello, friends, and his dad, who had Alzheimer's at the time, would know it was his son, Jim, simply because of the hello, friends.
That's wild how that phrase kind of lines up, but it's those little things, especially, when my Mimo had to mention everything, like anything that kind of makes that correlation, that connection is huge. And for us to be able to kind of be a part of that as people who have witnessed Jim Nantz's career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really cool.
Absolutely. I had no idea that was the reason. So I'm sure every time he says that, he feels a good bit of emotion, I would certainly guess. But yes, Masters Week is here. With that being said, we've got a contest up. I'm actually going to, while I'm talking here, we've already got several people signed up, which is good. I'm going to put the link in the live Facebook feed. So if you want to go ahead and join right from the Facebook page, I can go ahead and put that in there. And what's cool about Masters, we'll have him on the show later on, 12:20. We'll be joined by Alan Watson, our studio sponsor here with Golf Plus, PCB, and Dothan. He's going to be putting together a little Masters-themed prize package that the winner of our pool will get. So this is open to anybody. There's no price, nothing to do. All you got to do is sign up, join that. You do have to make an account on Masters.com, but obviously Masters app is fantastic, and they just give you so much coverage, anything you could possibly want. I think last year is when they added this new fantasy feature, and I know we did do a pool last year, but we didn't have a cool prize like Alan is providing this year. That's for sure. Very, very cool. Appreciate him jumping in on that. Another big event coming up tonight. It'll be at Lone Star Boil House. That's right over there, kind of off of Beach Drive. You just go past that little corner and then take your first left. They're rocking and rolling all the time, but they've got great crawfish, huge TV. But some of the ESPN Northwest Florida crew will be there this evening handing out prizes. Even heard some rumors, if you still want to go, there might be some Braves tickets being given away tonight as well. Braves finally popped that bubble. Keith Fleming was at that game, and I'm pretty sure he's the reason why they ended the losing streak. Last year, he jinxed us with the injuries. This year, he got us out of the losing streak.
Get season tickets then, man. At least we'll get to no chance for 81 now because you get about 81 home games.
Yeah, absolutely.
But maybe, 70 would be nice. Daggone.
Yeah, it's a couple in a row would be good too. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, get over there to Lone Star Boil House. I know the coverage of the game starts around 7:50, tip-off probably right after 8 p.m. But get over there. They'll be rocking and rolling. Prizes being given out, gift certificates. Again, maybe a couple Braves tickets as well being handed out. So if you're looking for a place to go to watch the national championship game tonight, Lone Star Boil House is the place to go. The only thing that, they're Dallas Cowboys fans. But that's okay. I won't hold them against them. Go over there tonight and have some fun.
Not everybody can be perfect.
That's true. That is true. I forgot to have my Masters gear on until I saw myself in the...
That's a good-looking shirt, man.
Yeah, I've had it for probably 10 plus years now at this point, because my last Masters I went to was 2015. It's 2025. Whew. Yeah, it's probably 12, 13 years old, but good quality stuff. But yeah, join that Masters tournament. Head over to Lone Star Boil House tonight. Get over there around 7 o'clock. Eat you some crawfish. I know there's some people locally that have the record of the most crawfish eaten over there, as they do a pretty cool contest as well. It's kind of an ongoing, all-the-time contest. Speaking of contests, a couple more to talk about. The next one is our... I want to say biannual, I believe it is, the Race to Talladega. That's going to be the Jack Links 500, which is coming up this Sunday, a few weeks on Sunday, April 27th. If you were listening to the Coach James Hale Show this morning at 7:15 and 8:15, you probably heard the keyword of the day. I actually did as well. Not that it matters at this point, because you had to text it in with your name and the code word. And then, of course, listen to the Inside Drive right as we go out of our 12:20 segment, right before we go into our 12:40 segment. We will call your name, and the faster you can get to your phone and give us a call at 850-215-6290 will be your qualifying time. And the two fastest qualifying times will win the Race to Talladega and 2 tickets to the Jack Links 500 on April 27th. You can also listen to the Afternoon Underdogs as well, going out of the 5:20 segment right into the 5:40 segment. We will be calling, or we'll be announcing your name and get you those times in there. And if it's anything like it's been in the past, you got to make sure that you are ready to go during those times, because we've seen some really fast qualifying times in the Race to Talladega. You also get a couple tickets to the ARCA Menard Series, the General Tire 200, and the NASCAR Infinity Series AG Pro 300 doubleheader on Saturday. Contest runs basically this week and next. All qualifiers instantly win a Cool Station Stash. Ooh, that's a little alliteration there, Bone Crusher. A Cool Station Stash from Pepsi, Tommy's Express, and ESPN Northwest Florida. The Race to Talladega is officially sponsored by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, as well as Home 2 Suites. Fastest qual time will also win tickets to the incredible Talladega Garage Experience. That's a little extra added bonus there, it looks like, this time. I don't remember doing that one before, but I know you did the Garage Experience over there at Daytona, and you said that was fantastic.
I was on pit road. I mean, I went into the garage, but not the Garage Experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wasn't like a tour or anything. I was just touring. Yeah. Whatever I could go see,
That's what you got to do. When you have those behind-the-scenes opportunities, you find yourself kind of wandering a little bit and taking advantage of the situation. But I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to talk to Talladega President Brian Crichton here in the next couple weeks and talk a little bit more about that Garage Experience. But the fastest person will also win tickets to the incredible Talladega Garage Experience. And I'm going to continue on with the contest. We appreciate you guys checking out the Best of Bay nominations. All you got to do is search that up. I've been posting it on my page as well as the ESPN Northwest Florida Facebook page as well. Right now, it's just nomination time. April 1st through April 30th, nominations will be given, and then each category voting will start in early May. So we appreciate you, all of our 3 great local shows, giving us some nominations, not only for radio personality, but for TV personality as well, as we are streaming live every day on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also go back and watch it after the fact as well. All right, Best of Bay nominations, Race to Talladega, Lone Star, Masters Week. What else we got? Oh, we got to talk about the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Lottie Woad was going for the back-to-back repeat, but unfortunately kind of stalled out a little bit on Saturday at Augusta National. She started off with a brilliant 65 and was tied, or 2 strokes back of the lead going into the second round, fired a nice little 200 par 70, which found herself atop the leaderboard scored going into the final round at Augusta National. But unfortunately, the young lady from, I believe she was from Kansas State, Bernat Escuder, she shot 3 68s. 68 at Champions Retreat, 68 at Champions Retreat, and a beautiful 68 at Augusta National. So she ended up winning by 1 stroke over Emma Talley, who finished at 11 under par. She shot 71, 66, 68, and like I said, Lottie Woad shot even par 72, which at Augusta National is still a fantastic round. And 2 top 5 finishes in the last 2 years, 1 win, 1 third place. Not too shabby for the number 1 ranked amateur in the world. And then the other FSU Seminole, Mirabelle Ting, unfortunately shot a great second round at Champions Retreat, but just had a tough round in the first round that kind of put her out of contention to make the cut, and shot 76 in that opening round. She followed it up with a nice 68, but just wasn't enough to make that cut. But like I mentioned last week, all players did get to play Augusta National that Friday. Also had the drive, chip, and putt that went down this past Sunday, yesterday morning. If you watch some of the kids over there, always fun to watch the kiddos doing the drive, chip, and putt competition on the hallowed grounds of Augusta National. All right, David Hayes, how'd you end up doing in your women's bracket?
I think like 300,000 or something like that, because UConn won.
Yes,
so I had South Carolina winning, and I had South Carolina beating UCLA. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
So it all fizzled out.
Yeah,
as expected.
But you were there. It makes it exexciting.
I didn't watch the game.
You were well at that point. You didn't have.
I was watching Ovi, and I was watching.
Because it was on like middle of the afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I forget who I was talking to about it, and then I look up, when they're playing again, and they're on right now. They were down 2-0. It's like, well, with them being down, this is even it's more than likely going to happen today, right?
Yep.
So as soon, and I was actually sitting outside, get the ESPN notification that it had happened, but my TV was behind. So as soon as I walk in the door,
streaming it being behind is good.
It's like exactly. Walk in and watch that, and then get to see all of the celebration, all that stuff. Really cool that Gretzky was there. Yeah, it's but yeah, I totally forgot about that. But what I did think about this though. How good, Paige is for college basketball, but she's going to be headed to the WNBA. And there's so much built up with the rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, which is a great hero-villain story.
Yeah.
If the way that she kind of approaches it, Angel Reese, that is, to, playing that role, Caitlin Clark versus Paige could be something special,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And good for the WNBA, no doubt about that. But yeah, speaking of the NCAA Women's National Championship game, UConn I was a little surprised by that score. I mean, obviously Paige Beckers is a fantastic player, one of the best in all of college basketball, if not the best. But South Carolina was trying to win another one. That would have been their 3rd in 4 years or something like that.
Yeah, it seems like San Francisco Giants back in like the early 2010s or whatever, where it was every other year.
Yeah, but not last night, as the final score was a little lopsided. I forget what UConn had, but I know South.
I think it was 82.
82 to 59. Yeah,
because they in the first quarter they were up by 5. Second quarter they're up by they outbeat them in the second quarter by 5, so they go into half with a 10-point lead. Third quarter, outscoring by 10, and then South Carolina in the fourth quarter came back a little bit. But man, that UConn team was on fire.
No doubt. Their 12th national championship, led there by Gino Auriemma, and just impressive stuff in what he's done. But the story kind of behind the scenes with Paige Beckers is one that I kind of forgot about a little bit. But if you start 2.5 years ago, she was already a young superstar. She tore her ACL just months after missing out on most of her freshman season with a knee injury. She then missed the entire 2022-23 year. Obviously, easy to wonder if Beckers would have ever got the chance to live up to her hype. Obviously, last season, we saw her finally rise. A Final Four trip stopped short of glory, though falling 2 points shy against some player, I don't know, named Caitlin Clark. Even then, the result was in doubt. Superstars were everywhere around the sport. Winning a title is hard, even if you're Paige Beckers and UConn. Just a month ago, the selection committee thought it would be difficult too, giving the Huskies a number 2 seed. To use our word earlier, and no disrespect to number 1 seeds, that looks hilarious now. But there were the Beckers and her Huskies teammates yesterday afternoon cutting down the nets after flattening everyone in front of them, average margin of victory against number 1 seeds UCLA and South Carolina in the Final Four, 28.5 points. Absolutely absurd to win in the Final Four, both of those games, by too much. Obviously, Paige Beckers is certainly the story, but Azzi Fudd, a senior, and Sarah Strong, a true freshman, led UConn with 24 points apiece. I believe Paige had 17 points. For Strong, she cements her place as one of the best freshmen in UConn history, obviously, which is saying something with the ladies that they've had come through that program. Obviously, keep her name handy for next season. And then, of course, USC fans without Juju Watkins probably would have wanted to see them make a little bit better run. But yeah, so congratulations to Gino, Paige, all the players in UConn winning a national championship. And now Paige likely to go pretty high up, if not number 1, in that WNBA draft. All right, I don't know if I have enough time to talk about this, but I'll try to talk about it fairly quickly. There's currently a ongoing controversy, quote unquote, about the number 8. And right now, that's between Ravens quarterback and NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt Jr. are battling over the use of that particular number. An explanation, Jackson and Earnhardt's dispute surfaced late Wednesday evening after Jackson issued a claim with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to stop Earnhardt from using the stylized number 8 logo associated with Earnhardt's own team, JR Motorsports. Earnhardt's company, DEJ Holdings, applied to trademark 2 number 8 logos last year, one featuring the bolded and slanted figure representing the strip he spotted during his first 9 seasons of his Cup Series career. The second, a simpler design, was flagged by Jackson and his team. They claim the second logo mimics Jackson's jersey number, which could lead to confusion. Why is Lamar Jackson suing Dale Earnhardt Jr., you ask? Jackson holds a trademark to ERA, or ERA, I'm assuming that's ERA 8, by Lamar Jackson, a merchandise and apparel. Yes, that's ERA 8, not ERA. I was channeling my inner baseball.
Yeah, it's baseball season. You got a good excuse there.
Yeah, fair. I appreciate that. Give me a little pass. A merchandise and apparel company. If the U.S. Patents Office Trademark Trial and Appeal Board denied Earnhardt's trademark, Jackson would have grounds to sue Earnhardt for trademark infringement. Jackson has expended considerable time, effort, and expense in promoting, advertising, and popularizing the number 8 in connection with his personality and fame. With the result of that, relevant purchasing public has now come to know, rely upon, and recognize his trademarks as very strong indicators of the source of his products provided in connection with his marks, the filing states. Such a challenge takes more than a year to complete, but on Friday, Earnhardt announced that the USPTO approved his trademark for the stylized number 8 logo he donned during his formative racing years, and such he'll abandon the simpler number 8 design that Jackson's team contested. We're looking forward to the remainder of an already successful season, Earnhardt wrote on X, the website formerly known as Twitter. Man, I need to find a number to try to copyright.
I mean, you can go out there and try to pick one. The problem is they've kind of built that number up a little bit, but it's still about as wild as, Ohio State trying to trademark the or the, whatever, however you want to say it. It's come on, guys, it's a number.
Yeah, that's the world.
And you kind of opportunistically landed into that. You know, there's people who were wearing 8 before you ever thought about it.
8's been around for quite some time.
Just a little bit.
And I'd probably give number 8 to a different number 8 at the current moment anyway.
We could just stop feeding into this bull crap.
Yeah.
Right? Like, can common sense prevail at some point in time but everything is, in the world of business is going to come down to making money and trying to prevent other people, I guess, from using the same thing you do. So
I guess it is. But we're going to have to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk a little Final Four recap. And, of course, later on today, we'll preview the national championship game on the men's side. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Masters Week.
It's here. On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app version 2.0. Now featuring ultra-high fidelity. You'll feel like you're in the game. Plus more opportunities to win weekly prizes from local businesses when you click it to win it. Download the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app today at Google Play or the Apple Store.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, possible thunderstorms and mostly clouds and a high of 68 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the northwest. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 53. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high around 70. For Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 71. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Hey, this is David Hayes, and I want to invite you to Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar Monday evening at 6:30 for the national championship and some good old crawfish. The locals know where to go to get their fix for the best seafood boil in town. That's Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. We'll give away t-shirts and other swag. Plus, what goes better with championship hoops than crawfish and cold beverages? Monday night, 6:30. Come enjoy the evening at Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar in beautiful downtown Panama City.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive. We're betting the limit and covering the spread.
Viva Las Vegas!
The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up in the next segment, we'll be joined by Al Carl. He's the lead ice technician for the Washington Capitals. We're going to talk a little bit about what the different number 8, some might call him the Great 8, about what he had done this past weekend, really Friday and Sunday. We'll talk to him about that and, of course, get his thoughts on, the Stanley Cup playoff races. We're down to about 4 or 5 games left, both in the NBA and the NHL. Let's talk a little Final Four action first. Kind of a Final Four packed with comebacks on both games. Obviously, Auburn got out to a good start and was leading by, I think, 6 or 7 at halftime. And then, like I was saying earlier, the halftime comes, adjustments are made. If you got a lot of momentum, it just seems to go away. Florida came out aggressive on defense, making shots, and had a quick 9-0 run to basically tie that game up. But kind of the tail of the tape in this one, besides Walter Clayton Jr., who's an absolute stud on the hardwood. I also didn't realize how many Florida Gator fans there were until this game was over here in Bay County. But field goal percentage was pretty darn close. Three-pointers, very, very close, although Auburn took more than Florida, so Florida's percentage was better. Free throws about identical. I was surprised about how many free throws were being missed in that game. Maybe that's nerves, maybe that's something. But the big difference in this game, in my opinion, if you look at the rebounds and break it up between offensive and defensive rebounds, pretty much the same, 9-12. Florida had the lead in that one, but defensive rebounds, Florida had 27 to only 21 defensive rebounds by the Auburn Tigers. That led to a lot of second chance points there for the Gators, which ended up being the difference in the game, in my opinion. Obviously, turnovers were pretty close for the whole game, but Auburn's second half turnovers, I want to say, were in double digits, which also led to help that Florida Gator team come back quite a bit. Janai Broome, Chad Baker-Mazara, although they had good games, just didn't quite look 100%, at least to me. They both didn't play as much as they usually do. They looked tired. Broome was making some lazy passes, and they were feeding him the ball a lot early in the game, and then they kind of got away from that in the second half, and obviously that gave Florida the opportunity there to come back quite a bit. Chad Baker-Mazara led the Auburn Tigers with 18 points, Janai Broome with 15. We'll have Brad Law joining us tomorrow to kind of recap Auburn's overall basketball season, which was one for them for the history books. But, man, you cannot deny how good Walter Clayton Jr. is. 34 minutes, 34 points, 11 of 18 from the field, 5 of 8 from behind the arc. And those 5 3-pointers were huge and big-time momentum. And he was the only one on the actually him and Martin both were 100% from free throws, but he was 7 for 7 from the charity stripe. So obviously had a fantastic game. I think both the Elite Eight and the Final Four game, he was over 30 points, which, again, just goes to show how good Walter Clayton Jr. is.
Yeah, big players stepping up there in big moments, and he did it throughout the tournament, too. And the adversity that Florida had to face through the tournament. A
lot of comebacks.
UConn, Texas Tech there, it looking like not only were their backs against the wall, it looked like they were going to be making that exit in the tournament, but even in this game, and Auburn didn't have to deal with as much adversity there, and Florida, man, they're hot as can be right now.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting, obviously we're going to be talking about Duke and Houston, but this matchup here where Auburn and Duke, we're talking about the Naismith Players of the Year, the Wooden Award winners, right? Or finalists. Cooper Flagg ended up getting it, and both of those guys going down in the Final Four. And now you have a Houston team that maybe the world is starting to recognize now. A lot of people were on their coattails going into this thing. Like Max Daleiden was a huge proponent for Houston. There's a reason why they're a number 1 seed as well. But they don't have necessarily the same brand currently as what Florida and Auburn and obviously Duke. Florida and Auburn kind of been building that. So I really like what this matchup kind of brings to the table as far as the different storylines. And Houston, a little underrated. I think not as underrated now, but, man, what could happen tonight? It could be wild, right? I
flip a coin.
SEC-wise, it's like, it would be great for this area for Florida to win, but there's something about how close Houston's been getting and kind of that progress that we've been seeing, and Sampson's been doing a great job with the Cougs.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you a quote from Sampson here shortly, but let's break down the Duke-Houston matchup. Obviously, a lot to talk about in this one, and I'll just kind of jump in first with the timeline of events in this game. With 8 minutes to go in the second half, Duke was up by 14 points, 59-45. With 2:05 left, Duke was still up, but only by 9 at that point. So they cut it down by about half, a little less than half. And then with 1:14 left to go, Duke was up 66-59. That's kind of where it famously started, up by 7 points. With 32 seconds left, they were up by 6 points. You would think 32 seconds, 6 points, we got the game, right? Well, no. Houston says no. I forget the gentleman who made the first three-pointer, and then a lazy inbound pass gets intercepted. Guy goes back behind the arc, drains that one. Boom, all of a sudden he doesn't drain that one. It gets rebounded, dunked, and the guy gets fouled. I think he missed the free throw to tie it up, or maybe he did make the free throw to tie it up. I can't remember. But anyway, Duke goes down. They have time to win the game. Who do they give the ball to? Obviously, they give it to their best player, Cooper Flagg. He dribbles around a lot, kind of does a fadeaway, short rims it just a little bit. Houston ends up getting it, and they have to foul. They make the free throws, and the rest is history. But a little surprising from the Duke team. And maybe that's where, age and Duke being so darn young compared to, Houston, Auburn, some of these teams that just, are older, some of the NBA teams out there. Maybe that makes a difference down the stretches. Despite Cooper Flagg being the best player in the country, he's still really only supposed to be in high school right now, which is insane to think about. Your brain doesn't mature until you're like 25, 26 years old. There's a reason high school is 4 years and college is 4 years, is because your brain's not fully developed yet. So obviously, obviously a huge learning experience for him. Will it matter? I don't know, because he's most likely going to the NBA next. But, rebounds, Houston dominated in that one too. So just one of those things. Turnovers were low by both teams, but Houston just had that fight towards the end. And like I was saying, the quote by Kelvin Sampson after the game: "No one ever loses anything as long as you don't quit," Sampson said. "When you quit, I don't care. You've lost. Our thing in our timeouts, we've been here before. It's not like we were down 20. It's not like we were playing great. We felt like we could get it close enough to put some game pressure on them, and then something good could happen. But all the credit goes to God, and all the credit goes to these unbelievable young men I get to coach. I'm so blessed to get to coach these teams." He went on to say, "I hear people say Duke this, Duke that. Duke's great. Jon Scheyer is awesome. But don't sleep on Houston. Don't sleep on Houston. We weren't 30. This is my favorite one. We weren't 34-4 playing in the Toy Poodle League. We were 19-1 in the Big 12. Playing in the Big 12 helped us. Shout out to my Big 12 brethren, Brett Yomark, and all the great coaches in the Big 12. Taking a little shot there at the ACC in the game.
Is that a shot at the ACC? Or is it more a shot at, because the ACC wasn't talked about that, or talked like, no one was saying the ACC was great this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what he's reiterating.
Well, I think it could also be a shot to the SEC, right? Because it's like the Big 12 is just as good as the big boys.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah.
And you had a representative, number one seeds, never mind, the Big 10 didn't get that. But the Big 12 is a underrated conference, and even what they're doing in football right now, the games are exciting. They have a lot of parity from the top to the bottom in the league, and he's right. In basketball, the Big 12 was a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. But
And I think them getting this far, especially with the comeback win against Duke, which I think is so impressive that Duke was able to play in a inferior conference and still maintain their way through the tournament. Houston, they did what they were supposed to do. We got all four number one seeds. The Big 12 was a heck of a conference, but really, what conference outside of the SEC gets talked about like the SEC across the board in all sports? And so I think other commission or other coaches in these conferences are starting to kind of poke at that, because the reality of it is when it comes down to it, it's really not about the conference that you play. The competition that you play is going to be a cursor, if you will.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you're a really good team, that's going to show.
The cream will rise to the top, as they always say. Cryer led the way for Houston with 26 points. I know he was the other nominee for Naismith National Player of the Year, and the only one there from the Big 12. 26 points, great game for him. He's going to have to be sharp tonight as well. Speaking of sharp, he had 16 points to go along with Cryer's 26. Not a ton of help from the bench on the Houston side of things. And then, of course, Cooper Flagg had a fantastic game, 27 points in just 36 minutes, 3 for 4 from behind the arc, in addition with 7 rebounds, and he was perfect from the charity stripe. It seems like the best players don't miss very often from the old free throw line, unless your name's Janai Broom. And they matter. Free throw matters. You close games out with free throws. Yeah, they do. It's just like every shot in golf. Every 4-foot putt, whether it's for birdie or whether it's for triple, it all adds up to the same score. So, you got to make those free throws when it comes down to it. And then, of course, Knipple had 16 points, and he was 3 for 5 from behind the arc. So 6 total three-pointers from the two freshmen, Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, looking pretty good out there for Duke.
I think Cooper Flagg has an opportunity here to show how important NIL is to college basketball in the sense of star power wise. In the last few years, college basketball has kind of dwindled, right? Because these guys are trying to get to the NBA. They're the top stars, right? They know where they're headed to, and you only got to play 1 year. But like you mentioned, the maturation of Cooper Flagg, he's not. He should be in high school right now.
Yeah.
He came up early. He can make. I don't think it's just as much money, but you can make enough money, and it's not like he comes from a family that's you know what I mean? Like needing his assistance, or that they can assist him through this and he'll be able to make enough just off of his name, image, and likeness, plus the star power that it'll bring to Duke. The only negative now would be an injury, right?
Yeah. That's really the only risk, but you can take out those policies for that now.
Right, yeah, so you have that. You have that as well. And you only get one opportunity to play college basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go out on top.
Yeah.
Come on, Cooper Flagg.
Come back. Come back. Or maybe don't come back for the rest of us.
Well, there is a lot of truth to that as well. But it's nice when Walter Clayton Jr. has made this huge name for himself, right, throughout the tournament. But if you watched him, even in the SEC tournament, which is when I started paying a little bit more attention, like, dadgum, he's pretty good. But we've been hearing about Cooper Flagg and Janai Broome all year long, and for those two guys to get to the Final Four, I think it's great for college basketball to have those stars. And then also on top of that, for when the stars don't even make it to the championship game, it just goes to show you that the parity's fun and the star power matters to get the eyes to the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Star power obviously feeds the ratings. I saw something earlier. I don't have the exact numbers, but I think I remember them. So the women's Final Four national championship game last year, I believe it was Iowa and UConn. Obviously, Caitlin Clark was in that one. 14.4 million viewers. The national championship game from yesterday, 4.1 million viewers. Obviously, Paige Beckers is a big driver of viewership, but obviously the Caitlin Clark brand was, something that we may not see for a long time, and obviously that's carried over to the WNBA.
That was the championship game last year. Was UConn and Iowa?
I believe so, or was it Iowa and? I know Iowa won. I swear it was UConn, but maybe it wasn't.
Wait, did Caitlin Clark and them win? I don't think she ever got a championship.
Well, now we got a lot of questions to answer here. Oh, that would have been 2024 Women's Final Four.
Oh, I'm over here typing 2023.
Well, I mean, it's technically the 23-24 season, I guess. I don't know.
No, you're right. It's 2024.
Yeah, UConn and Iowa. Iowa won.
Yeah, that was a Final Four game. Championship, though, was Iowa and South Carolina, and then South Carolina took care of business.
Yes, that's right. So,
and Paige wasn't playing for UConn, right? She was dealing with the injury.
Yeah, she was still coming back from it. But yeah, so maybe they were just comparing that game versus this game.
Right.
But still, to have that big of a drop-off in viewership just shows how much Caitlin Clark moves that proverbial needle. But yeah, viewership will be interesting to see tonight without Duke in there. Obviously, Duke, one of the blue bloods, and Florida and Houston, like you said. Houston's kind of the come-up story the last 3 or 4 years. Sampson's done a wonderful job. Obviously, they've been there year in and year out. And, Florida, the last time they were in the Final Four, I believe, was 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, they won the 2 national championships in 07-08, looking to add another one coming up tonight. And we'll break that down a little bit later on in the show. Don't forget, too, I posted it in the comments today. We've got a Masters pool up there, the ESPN Northwest Florida Masters pool. I love that Masters.com allows you to do pools right through their website. Just makes it easy. You don't have to set it up anywhere else. But I posted the link right there in our live show going on right now. And then, of course, it's also posted on our feed, so you can go find that anytime. It'll take you right to the thing. All you gotta do is create an account with Masters.com, and you can sign up for that. Golf Plus giving a really, really cool Masters package to the winner in that one. We'll have Alan Watson coming up at 12:20 to talk a little bit more about that package and his thoughts on the fact that it's Masters Week again already. When we get back, we'll be joined by Al Carl. He's a lead ice technician for the Washington Capitals. We're going to be talking a little bit about that record that got broke yesterday, a little bit after noon here in our time. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The sports talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite sports talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the sports talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place. Bestway Portable Buildings recognizes the optimism in the air, and a golden age has begun for all to share. Bestway has been constructing durable, custom-made portable buildings in just about any size since 1989. They know what they're doing. Of course, you're not obligated in any way to buy from Bestway Portable Buildings. However, owner Jason Mulder asks that you please give them a try before you buy. Bestway Portable Buildings, a golden age builder north of the Old Mall on Highway 231 and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Broadcasting from the Gulf Plus Studios, it's the Inside Drive. From the fairway to the rough.
I was hoping to squeeze in 9 holes before this rain starts.
From the greens to the bunker.
Certainly, Your Eminency.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
The good Lord would never disrupt the best game of my life.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. But before we bring in our next guest, got a little fun sound clip for him before we get going.
Into his own zone there. But no, look, he's just trying to find a seam and know that, hey, we're going to try to force it to him if he's open.
Here is Ovechkin. Shoots. He scores! He scores! Number 895!
A moment that will go down in infamy. But next, time to bring in our next guest, Al Carl. Al, how the heck are you? Have you come down from the high of Ovechkin breaking the record yet?
Hey, Ryan. Actually, to tell you the truth, pal, I have not. I'm actually, we have a dark day down here in the arena, getting ready for a concert tomorrow. The boys have the day off, and I'm just sitting in the bowl right now. It's nice and quiet, and actually there's Capitals logos on the banners and everything. It's still just a very, very surreal experience.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go back to Friday, and we'll talk a little bit more about him breaking the record yesterday. But let's go back to Friday. You were there at the game. You know, since you've been doing this, you've had some insane moments that have transpired. Obviously, you got to do the outdoor games there at MetLife Stadium. But now that since you've been with the Washington Capitals, obviously we've had you on a couple times this year talking about Ovechkin's chase for Gretzky's record. But just talk about what it was like at the game, the atmosphere. I mean, what an event to be at. That's just incredible.
Yeah, this is. I've been thinking about this, and I've been going over all of the events that I've been fortunate enough to be at live, either working the game. And yeah, this has to be number one. This has to be the greatest thing I've ever been a part of. I mean, it was a playoff atmosphere. And that says a lot for a borderline meaningless game, regular season game. The people have been waiting for this. This is their guy. This is not even an argument by the people down here that Alex Ovechkin is the greatest athlete in Washington, D.C. sports history. This is their guy. They showed up for it. They showed out for it. Alex showed out for it. It was an amazing experience. It was loud, like I said, a loud playoff atmosphere. I've been at some pretty big playoff games, and this was right up there with all of them as far as loudness goes. 17,900 people strong here to witness that game-tying goal and almost the game, the record breaker. As well, it was pretty cool that he wanted to do it. But you know what? The one time, you can score an empty net goal and have it raining hats. That would have been a pretty epic moment as well. We had to prepare for that as well.
Yeah,
but he decided to pass up on it, and then Ryan Leonard was the one that benefited from it. So that was actually pretty cool that we got to witness his first as well.
Yeah, because that was his first NHL goal, and happened to be because, and in true Alex Ovechkin fashion, I want to break the record by scoring a real goal, and not that an empty net goal is not a real goal; they all count. I'm sure he's probably got at least maybe 50 plus of those out of his 895 or 65. So pretty cool to see him. Just a testament to his character, letting I want the opportunity in a real game. And of course, one of the other things that we talked about last week, I believe, was when it was the last game the Washington Capitals played against Marc-Andre Fleury, who obviously Ovechkin's played against many, many a time. And the game was over, his teammates left, and then he realized that was the last game he was ever going to be playing against Marc-Andre Fleury, so he had everybody come back out and shake Marc-Andre Fleury's hand. So just pretty cool to see, the type of guy leading the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, he's a class act in every way, shape, and form. He's got the love of the game. He's got the respect of the game. I'm going to say, him and Fleury. Said Fleury. That goes back to when he was in Pittsburgh. Marc-Andre Fleury. I was looking at the list on Facebook today of all the goaltenders that have allowed Ovechkin goals, and Fleury was probably top 3. Like, they've had many battles, the Caps and the Penguins over the years. There is a respect, like I said, it's a respect for the game, it's a respect for the people that have played past, present, and future, and 100% leadership by example on Ovi's part.
Yeah, no doubt. It's obviously correlated to a great season as well, not only breaking records that some maybe thought never would be broken, but obviously leading the Washington Capitals to currently a lead and only 1 point behind the President's Cup race right now, behind the Winnipeg Jets, which is still weird to say that the Winnipeg Jets are leading the points right now in the NHL, but obviously correlating to a great season by the Washington Capitals, but kind of breaking it down a little more, and also very cool that, and you kind of expect it, but they still got to do it. Gretzky obviously being there at the game where he tied his record, and then of course being right there to shake his hand when he broke the record as well, because I think Gordie Howe did the same thing with Gretzky when Gretzky broke his record. But just kind of looking at them side by side a little bit, obviously Alex Ovechkin 895 goals, Wayne Gretzky 894. They did it in the exact same amount of games played. That's pretty wild. For as long as they both played hockey, for it to be the exact same amount of games when he broke the record is just insane to think about. And then, of course, Alex Ovechkin, more of a goal scorer than an assist maker, 724 assists. And then this number just astronomical for the great one, 1,963 total assists, giving him 2,857 points. And Ovechkin, obviously, still, I think he's probably up there, top 5 in total points. I think Jaromir Jagr's tied or is behind Gretzky right now in points, but Alex Ovechkin's got 1,619 total points. Obviously, the goal record was broken. The assist record and the points record probably never going to be touched. What do you think, Al?
No, that's you're never supposed to say never.
True.
But I remember years ago, I guess they showed a clip of Ovi saying that he'd never catch Wayne even with the goals thing. But the fact of the matter is that Wayne Gretzky never scored a goal, and he scored 894 of them. If he never scored a goal, he'd still be the all-time leader in points by far.
Which is
He's got
wild.
more assists than everybody else has points. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, almost 2,000 assists playing the game of hockey. And he played it for 20 years and multiple different teams, too. Imagine what would happen if he would have just stayed with Edmonton. Obviously, great teams have to break up because that's the way the nature of the business of the sport works out. But yeah, so Gretzky's other records probably won't ever be touched, but, some records obviously fun. And I'm sure it's been a fun storyline to be a part of kind of all season long. And now I guess the focus switches to, they've obviously locked up the playoff position, but obviously now the focus switches to a deep playoff run and possibly bringing another Stanley Cup there to the Washington Capitals. So I know you got to be excited that your season, on and off the ice is continuing on into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, not like I said, that this couldn't happen at a good time to get this done. It was actually really cool. I got to see the game tired. That was great. The fact that he broke it, broke the record with the against the Islanders. That was a little nice cherry on top for me. Obviously, I was there for 9 years. I know that crew. They knocked it out of the park with the ceremony and everything that they needed to do on their end. I was very happy with that. And the Poeticus, too. I know him and Ilya Sorokin, they're close. They're both Russians. I don't know if you remember, there was the All-Star game a couple years ago during the skills competition. Sergei Ovechkin, Ovi's kid, he was a little bit younger, obviously, back then, but he was attached at the hip to Sorokin. Anytime you saw Sorokin on camera, Ovi's kid was right next to him. So there's a little bit of a poeticness with that. And I said that was the first time Sorokin got beat, too. Sorokin he was at 0 for that whole entire time. But, yeah, so that's all said and done. And it's great because come Thursday when this house that I'm walking through right now is going to be packed again, the Hurricanes are coming to town, and that did not end well when we played them last week. There's a lot to be settled, and we're about to start some playoff hockey now and set the tone because it's a potential second-round matchup. If we get out of the first and Carolina gets out of the first, their brackets lead right to each other. So they're going to be setting the tone on Thursday. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, this is the time of the year, even if you're not a hockey fan, that you want to start tuning in as we approach what a lot of people call the best sport to watch the playoffs in, and that's certainly the NHL. But yeah, Washington Capitals 107 points on top of the Metropolitan Division. Carolina Hurricanes currently in second with 96 points. And then my New Jersey Devils may actually make the playoffs again this year. So it's actually, they should make the playoffs this year. That victory over the Rangers yesterday should help kind of settle that spot there in the last spot in the Metropolitan Division. And, of course, the Ottawa Senators and the Montreal Canadiens chomping at the bit in the wild card spot. But should be a fun playoff. Eastern Conference, it almost seems like it's kind of... And what's wild is Boston's not even really in the mix. They've been eliminated. They were one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. Crazy stuff going on right now. And like I said earlier, the Winnipeg Jets currently leading all of the NHL with 108 points. And right behind them, the Dallas Stars with 105, followed by the Colorado Avalanche. And then in the Pacific Division, you got the Knights and the Kings, who've already clinched playoff spots as well. Edmonton Oilers trying to lock up that last spot in the Pacific Division, but you got the St. Louis Blues chomping on their heels with the same amount of points as 93. Al, what do you think on the Eastern Conference? Obviously, you'd love to see the Washington Capitals come out of the Eastern Conference. What are some of the other teams that you'd be worried about if you had to play in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, first things first, I don't think anybody outside of Boston is going to be complaining that the Bruins aren't in the playoffs.
100%,
I think there's a smile on everybody's face that they're doing as bad as they are this year. Poor David Pastrnak, though. He's such a great player. So right now, things start today. I do believe we're going to be getting the Canadiens if the playoffs started today. And they're on a roll right now. So it's going to be tough. And that's the one thing about hockey playoffs and what makes them so great that you were alluding to earlier, Ryan. Just throw the records out the book. Yep. Throw the records out. It doesn't matter. It's a best-of-7 war. And it's whoever wants it more usually gets it. Sometimes it's not the better team on paper. Sometimes it's not the better team on the ice. You run into a hot goalie, and then you run into a serious problem. So right now we're looking at the Montreal Canadiens. That's not going to be easy. Carolina, in years past, I know how tough they can be. They're not going to be an easy out. They're going to be tough. And then you got to look at the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. They're playoff tested. A lot of their core guys are still there, even though Steven Stamkos isn't. So they're going to be tough. The Florida Panthers are defending champs. I know they're on a little bit of a skid right now, but you can't look past them. And then the Toronto Maple Leafs, the quote-unquote Dallas Cowboys of hockey. The first round used to get them every single time, but I think they've won 8 of their last 10 or something like that. They're not screwing around. There is no easy team. I was on a podcast with a friend of mine. We did a podcast called The Sauce, and the joke, we were doing stuff. Oh, that's a team that you don't want to play in the playoffs. Every team we talk about, that's a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. But it's 100% true. Tongue in cheek aside, it's 100% true. Just look at what happened with the Bruins 2 years ago. They had the best record in NHL history, and they were out in the first round because the team was hungrier than they were, and they were playing playoff hockey for about a month before the playoffs started. So it's going to be great, and hopefully the Capitals can get over this little slide that they're on now that the record's past them. And Thursday they're gonna wake up Thursday and they're gonna come out swinging. They're not gonna have a choice because that's exactly what the Hurricanes are gonna do.
Yep, no doubt. Man, you summed that up perfectly. The only team you didn't mention in there was the New Jersey Devils, but the absence of Jack Hughes, I think, is going to hurt them in the playoffs. But maybe some of the other guys can step up, and like you said, playoffs is as much about how much you want it as it is also getting a hot goaltender. And maybe Jake Allen can find a way to lead the Devils to at least a series win. That's all I want, just a series win.
Yeah,
I don't need
and you know
more
what?
than that.
If they could get the Hurricanes out of there, you wouldn't get any complaints from me. Yeah, the Devils, they're going to tell you, Jacob Markstrom is going to be their starting goaltender. He can get hot just like anybody else does. And the team's playing well. Like I said, they had the shutout win over the Rangers.
Always good to do that.
That was a big statement win. The Devils are going to be there. And like I said, it's been about a month and a half or so in the making that we're going to get the Hurricanes and the Devils in the first round, the way the playoff format's set up. So there's no reason why, they've been probably preparing for each other for a while now. And, yeah, it's going to be a war just like everything else.
Yep. And, of course, over there on the Western Conference, like I've said multiple times now, the Winnipeg Jets, of all teams, leading the Western Conference. And Dallas Stars, no surprise. Colorado Avalanche, no surprise. The Vegas Knights, pretty much since they've been in the league, have been in the playoffs each and every year with at least one Stanley Cup victory to their name. The Kings there again. And then, of course, the Oilers. Just a lot of young talent over there on the Western Conference with these good teams.
Yeah, 100%. The Los Angeles Kings have been the team that's been catching my eye lately. They just don't seem like they want to lose them. The St. Louis Blues as well. The Blues, again, here you go. I'm going to say it again. Not a team you're going to want to play in the playoffs.
12 in a row for the Blues. That's wild.
Yeah, that central division between, you said, Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado. Then you can throw St. Louis in there, throw Minnesota in there. That's by far the best division in hockey, and thank God they're all going to eliminate each other, and we'll see who comes out of there. I want nothing to do with that division in the playoffs. They're all going to be 7-game wars. Like it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Al, we got to take our top of the hour break. I really, really appreciate you jumping on with us. Maybe we'll get you in the heart of the playoffs as well to break down everything that's going on. Again, congratulations on such an awesome experience in your career there. Just unbelievable stuff. And again, thanks for coming on with us one more time.
Yeah, Ryan, always happy to be on when I can, pal. I would absolutely love to talk to you guys come playoff hockey. Hopefully we'll still be in there.
Sounds great. Well, you have a great rest of your day, and again, appreciate you jumping on.
All right, sounds good, Ryan. Take it easy, pal.
All right, you guys listen to The Inside Drive, our afternoon delight debrief, coming up next.
The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, possible thunderstorms and mostly clouds and a high of 68 with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour coming out of the northwest. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 53. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high around 70. For Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 71. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. $1,748 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus studios.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 in Panama City and Panama City Beach. 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. All you got to do is search it up, ESPN Northwest Florida. 3 great shows, local and live, every day. You can also watch it after the fact as well. That's the Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9 inside the J. Michaels Studios. The Inside Drive right here from 11 to 1 inside the Golf Plus Studios. And then from 4 to 6 p.m., the Afternoon Underdogs inside the, I forget your new studio sponsor's name, and I apologize for that.
CBC Construction.
I was going to say C&G, but I think that's a different company.
Yeah.
But yeah, CBC Construction sponsoring the studio for the Afternoon Underdogs. We appreciate all of our great studio sponsors, including Golf Plus right here for the Inside Drive. We got Alan Watson coming up in the 12:20 segment. You want to hear about that Masters Week prize package? He's the guy to tell you. Also going to talk to him a little bit about what his thoughts are of the Masters tournament. I know he's been a few times as well, so looking forward to chatting with him a little bit about the Masters tournament, which starts this Thursday at Augusta National Golf Club. Looking very, very, very much forward to that. And then, of course, you can also sign up. We got coming up 12:40. Yeah, right as we come out of our conversation with Alan Watson, we'll be calling somebody's name who text the keyword and their name this morning on the Coach James Hale Show at 7:15 or 8:15. That'll happen every day between now and April 18th. So make sure you're paying attention. And if you text in the number in the morning, make sure you listen to us at right around 12:40. Make sure you listen to the Afternoon Underdogs right around 5:40. As if we say your name, we will expect you to give us a call as soon as you possibly can at 850-215-6290. How long it takes you to call us back will be your qualifying time. 2 fastest qualifying times win the race to Talladega and 2 tickets to the Jack Links 500 on April 27th. In addition, you also get tickets to the ARCA Menard Series General Tire 200 and the NASCAR Xfinity Series AG Pro 300 doubleheader on Saturday. Like I mentioned, the contest runs now between Friday, April 18th. All qualifiers instantly win Cool Station Stash from Pepsi, Tommy's Express, and ESPN Northwest Florida. The race to Talladega is sponsored by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, the Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, as well as Home 2 Suites. The best part about the contest, if you are number 1, the fastest of all, you will also win 2 tickets to the incredible Talladega Garage Experience. You don't want to miss this opportunity to go up there, just up the road, right off of I-20, the Talladega Super Speedway up there in Alabama for the Jack Links 500. Little beef jerky sponsor there.
Hey, that race yesterday was a lot of fun, too.
Ooh, I may have to ask you a question about that, maybe in the final segment, because I don't really know what transpired yesterday on the NASCAR side of things. There's so much sports going on this weekend, just kind of drinking from that proverbial fire hose of sports. All right, do want to mention our studio sponsor more in depth. That's Golf Plus Dothan. Again, Alan Watson will be coming up with us next. But that Golf Plus, oh, there he is right there, coming in with the Masters swag, looking good as always. But yes, you can find them not on Montgomery Highway, but on Montgomery Highway up there at 2571, also known as 231. That store's been around for almost 40 years. And of course, the location right here in Panama City Beach over the Edgewater Shopping Plaza right next to Firefly. They're got fitting, retail, repair. Looking forward to talking to Alan in the next segment, as if you're a golf geek like I am, I know Alan is too, Masters Week doesn't get any better than that. All right, we got to talk about some afternoon delight debriefs. I'm going to start with a Masters story. I might have told this on the air before or not. This comes from Greg Chalmers, who's a former PGA professional there, has competed at the Masters before. He said, "You're not going to believe what happened the first time I played at the Masters. Masters. It was 2001, and my first round tee time was around 8:30 a.m., and I was a little nervous. I just watched Byron Nelson and Sam Snead hit off only a few minutes prior, and the enormity of the event was drawing on me as I stood over the ball on that tee shot. I managed to catch it out of the heel, which had the ball sliding down the left rope line. Frankly, I was pleased it was on planet Earth. This joy was as brief as I saw one of the patrons fall to the ground and my ball ricocheting through the pines to the left. I might vomit at this point. Couldn't help, but I imagine some poor soul has waited 15 years for tickets to the Masters, and I've nearly killed him at 8:30 in the morning. It wasn't great once I got there. I hit him right above the eye, and you could see the dimple pattern in the lump now forming. I didn't think a side glove was going to cut it. Not on this one. Not good. If I was nervous before, now I'm close to lying in the fetal position and sucking my thumb. My second shot, I had to have slid a 4-iron through about 4 pines and slice it back towards the fairway. I got the first part done, but failed on the second bit, so managed to hit a person in the shoulder on the right rope line up by the green. I definitely haven't read this one before because I don't remember it. I've waited my entire life to play Augusta National. I've taken 2 swings and hit 2 patrons. Put me down for a bogey and a solid 78 at the end of the day, and I'm not saying I'm the reason, but there's no coincidence patrons are no longer allowed on the left side of number 1, which is very true. They aren't. You never see them down there on the left side, right in there between number 1 and number 2. So there's a good all-time Masters story. And, kind of brings you into what these guys are feeling there on the first tee at Augusta National, which is quite intimidating, especially looking at the giant leaderboard just to the right, where there's literally looks like there's no room at all to miss the ball because there's a bunker up there. You're trying to stay away from that. If you block it right, you're in the woods. And, most golfers are right-handed, and when they get slow or nervous, they usually leave that club face open, and that ball will go to the right, unless you double-cross it and snap-hook it like Mr. Chalmers did. Although he healed that one. Oh. Yeah, he healed that one.
But he had to do that, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, the one to snap it back into the fairway, right?
Yeah. He was trying to slice the heck out of that one, but and he hit somebody else. That's wild. He hit 2 people, 2 for 2.
Oh, I think I pick up and go home, but how can you do that when you're at Augusta, right?
His first ever Masters, yeah. You almost expect to shoot a not-so-good score in your first round there at Augusta National, but I'll pivot back to our normal Afternoon Delight debrief stuff. If you're ever looking for a set of numbers for your lottery ticket, you might want to look no further than your odometer. Maryland woman uses odometer numbers to win $100,000 lotto prize. A Maryland woman bought a pair of identical tickets for the same Pick 5 drawing using numbers from her car's odometer and ended up winning a total of $100,000. I guess if you're going to do a Pick 5, you got to be under 100,000 in your miles. The Prince George County woman told Maryland lottery officials she is a regular Pick 4 player and even collected prizes of up to $5,000 in the past. The woman recently said she decided to give Pick 5 a try and bought 2 tickets bearing the last 5 digits from her car's odometer at the 7-Eleven on Livingston Road in Fort Washington. The player visited the store again after drawing and scanned one of her tickets. When she scanned my ticket, it said $50,000 winner. I recalled, I was shocked. I ran out of the store and went straight to my car to call my dad. The woman's ticket earned her a $50,000 prize for a total of $100,000. She said the prize money, which she described as both a dream and a blessing, will be put to good use paying bills, paying off her car, and sharing with her father. So there you go.
Do we know what the numbers were on the odometer?
Nope, they do not give us that.
I wonder how close she is to having to pay off that car and then get a new car.
Yeah, there you go. But she did say she used the last 5 numbers.
Okay.
So maybe she was over 100,000, probably, most likely, especially in this day and age with the price of new vehicles.
They're so much more expensive and they last so a lot
shorter.
less longer.
Yeah, they're designed to break, but that's neither here nor there. Here's another world record that we probably could have found a way to break. 309 people don banana hats to break a world record at a Missouri museum. This is from April 3rd.
Does it have to be finish the story?
Okay. A Missouri museum gathered 309 people in banana hats to break an appealing Guinness World Records. The City Museum in St. Louis took the title for the most people wearing banana hats at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. An official Guinness World Records educator was on site and confirmed the museum took the record with 309 participants. We gathered a bunch of friends to set the appealing Guinness World Record title for most people wearing banana hats with 309 participants. We couldn't have split this record without the help of Explore St. Louis, Slalom St. Louis, Rasta Impasta Costumes, and of course, you, the museum said on social media. What was your question, David?
I guess does this record, does it have to be done at a museum?
I was thinking that same thing when I was reading it.
Do we even have a museum around here big enough to hold that many people?
I would be surprised. I know you got that Science and Discovery Museum on like Airport or something like that. I don't know that because of the kids, but that's not very big.
I went there when I was a kid one time. Or
not wearing a banana hat.
No banana. And are these, I think this is a very stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
It's the Afternoon Delight Debrief.
Right. Are they wearing is it an actual hat or is it a real banana peel?
No, it's not a real banana peel.
We can start our own record then. We're all wearing live banana peels.
Yep. Then we'll go race some Mario Kart and we'll have plenty of weapons there. But yeah, no, it doesn't give me any details on the whether. I'm guessing it had to be at a museum, but who knows? There's just literally a record for everything. Hopefully maybe we'll get Jay to attempt one of these at some point. Let's see. Let's talk about some animal stuff. Philadelphia Zoo announces hatching of its first Galapagos tortoise babies. The old Galapagos turtles. I know about the Silicaga tortoise because my mom has one. But the Philadelphia Zoo announced the hatching of 4 critically endangered western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoises, the first of their species to hatch at the facility in its history. The zoo said the first egg hatched February 27th. The others emerged from their eggs in the ensuing weeks. Zookeepers said they are still monitoring multiple eggs that could hatch in the coming weeks. The eggs were laid by Mommy, a tortoise estimated to be about 100 years old, who is considered a key asset for the Association of Zoos and Aquarium Species survival plan. The father of the babies, Abrazo, is also believed to be about 100 years old. So see, you can still be in the hundreds and do the old hippity-dippity.
All right, Abraham.
The hatchlings are scheduled to make a public debut on April 23rd, which is also the 93rd anniversary of the day Mommy first arrived at the zoo. Dang, so she's been there for 93 years. This significant milestone in the history of the Philadelphia Zoo, and we couldn't be more excited to share the news with our city, region, and the world. Joel Mogerman, the zoo's president and CEO, said in a news release. Mommy arrived at the zoo in 1932, meaning that anyone that has visited the zoo for the last 92 years has likely seen her. The Philadelphia Zoo's vision is that those hatchlings will be part of a thriving population of Galapagos tortoises on our healthy planet 100 years from now. Abrazo came to the zoo in 2020, and Mommy has since laid 4 clutches of eggs, but the first 3 did not produce any viable hatchlings. So this obviously was a momentous occasion there for the Galapagos tortoise population. There you go.
Way to keep it going, man.
I'm
glad those things... never mind.
You're just trying to give me some filler there. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say something that was, pertaining to maybe an aquarium in this area. I just, we'll just let that sleep and...
Let it fester.
Yeah.
And let the property authorities...
Well, they did file for bankruptcy. So there's...
But
that.
All those animals are still there. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Speaking of animals, stray emu found wandering loose in a San Diego suburb. Animals get loose quite a bit, at least we talk about it a lot anyway. Animal rescuers in California wrangled an emu seen wandering loose through a neighborhood in Vista, a suburb of San Diego. The San Diego Humane Society said humane law enforcement officers and the emergency response team responded Wednesday night to a report of a large bird wandering through a yard in Vista, not a Vista. They arrived to find an emu with injuries to its neck and right wing. The emu, temporarily dubbed Claudius by rescuers, is being treated by veterinarians at the SDHS Escondido campus while officials try to determine where it came from. As with any stray animal in our care, Claudius will remain on a 72-hour stray hold while we determine the next steps, Thompson told KGTV. I like to see an emu walk past my window and just like, what the heck is going on? You can get those emu sleeves for your arms and be like a puppet emu. Maybe I'll start doing that. Just going around people's windows, tapping on them.
Yeah, pecking on them.
Yeah.
Pecking on the windows. At least you probably won't break it with a puppet.
I would, unless it's.
But their beaks will. I think it can snap through there.
Probably.
Have you ever been to one of those like drive-through zoos?
It hasn't. It's been a long time.
The closest one I've been to is up there at Wild Adventures, which isn't a drive-through zoo. You're on a train, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that would be. Especially with kids, I don't know if I would ever want to actually do that, right? Because they
make for good America's Funniest Home Video videos.
Absolutely,
that's for sure.
No doubt about that. The memories, though, hey, as long as
it's not a traumatic memory.
There you go.
I think you're good. Oh, all right. I'll stick with the animal one. We'll see how many more I can get to. Nevada man says 7 seized tigers. This isn't Joe Exotic either. 7 seized tigers were emotional support animals.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Rip their emotions right out of you.
That's it. They'll rip you apart. Authorities in Nevada seized 7 tigers from a Pahrump property, and the owner said the big cats claimed they were his emotional support animals. The Nye County Sheriff's Office worked together with the Nye County Code Enforcement and Animal Services to execute a search warrant Wednesday morning at the Pahrump home of Carl Mitchell, owner of Big Cats Entertainment. Let's see. Mr. Mitchell was being evicted from the property, and the owner of the property was not allowed onto the property to inspect. Sheriff Joe McGill told KSNV-TV. "We have known for several years he has had big cats on his property, and for the last 2 years he has been in violation of this because he has no permits for those cats." McGill and Mitchell were initially cooperative, but ended up being arrested for resisting after physically struggling with the deputy. "Our intention was to seize the cats, number 1 for public safety, number 2 for the safety of the cats, and then he struggled with the deputy," McGill told KVVU-TV. Mitchell was released on bond Wednesday evening, said the tigers are his emotional support animals. The animals did not deserve to be snatched up, locked out, with drugs shipped across the country when they were happy and content. They had lived for more than 10 years, he said. "I'm a 100% disabled veteran with PTSD. The VA and my doctors have approved the tigers to work as emotional support animals." Mitchell said 6 of his tigers were rescued from Joe Exotic. Imagine that. The jailed former big cat owner from Netflix's Tiger King documentary series. Isn't he in jail in Florida, Joe Exotic?
I don't know. I don't know if it's in Florida or not. I know that I think he got arrested in like Santa Rosa or something.
Yeah, maybe I think he got arrested in Florida. That's what it is. Let's see where he is. Fort Worth. Okay, so he's in Texas. But yeah, you're right. He got arrested here. Is when that went down. I knew there was some kind of connection to here with old Joe Exotic, but
Land of Baskins.
Oh man. He capitalized on a lot of stuff, and then it all went away when he went to the jail. The old clink. But, I guess you can't have tigers as emotional support animals. Probably a danger to the public. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if you have the correct permit, you can go out there and give them some boops and whatnot. But
yeah. Some boops. Oh, goodness.
There's people who work in those facilities and they're able to get a little closer with them, but
yeah.
Don't ever want to get too close for comfort, right?
Yeah, I feel like, and Jay tells the story, or told the story, past tense, when he was out there in Vegas. That's when the Siegfried and Roy incident had happened. He was actually there. I don't think he was watching the show. Maybe he was. Jay, if you're listening, which I know you're not, you could clarify that for me. But he was there when it went down. But just goes to show you, wild animals are wild for a reason. Yes, they can be calm and domesticated for a little bit, but at the end of the day, you just never know what's going to happen. And I would certainly be nervous to have a tiger around in my presence.
There's better animals out there for emotional support causes.
Maybe you can get a emotional support kangaroo.
No.
Haven't crossed
Again, I've seen videos of them, being a little combative. So, no, I'm cool on that. I guess it would be more emotionally supportive than what a tiger could possibly be, because hey, maybe one day you just jump in the old kangaroo pouch.
Yeah, the old Joey pouch. Especially if you get cold, you can hop in there and warm up with the. I believe the inside of a kangaroo's pouch is just like regular skin, so maybe it's not as nice as it looks. But that time has come. Don't forget again. head over to ESPN Northwest Florida. Check out our Masters pool. We've set it up. It's under ESPN Northwest Florida. The link is in the live show today, as well as posted on our actual our actual Facebook page as well. But when we get back, we'll be joined by Alan Watson, owner-operator of Golf Plus. He's going to talk about that Masters package that he has gracefully added to a prize for our fantasy challenge. Again, you can sign up for that. Just head over to our Facebook page, look for the link, jump right in there. We've already got about 10 people signed up for it. So appreciate everybody who has so far. You guys listen to the Inside Drive. Alan Watson coming up next.
Do you suffer from political talk radio fatigue?
We know that under the 49% rate, the U.S. economy is
Tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday afternoon. The rest of the day, a possibility of thunderstorms and mostly clouds, and 68 with a moderate breeze out of the northwest at 14 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy skies with a gentle breeze and a low near 53. Tomorrow, wind 8 to 12 miles per hour, mostly sunny and a high around 70. For Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 71. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Would you sell your business if the price was right? Ready for a change? Want more time for family or just not enjoying it anymore? First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida can help. Connect your business with serious buyers locally, nationally, and internationally while keeping the process confidential. Get a free, no-obligation business evaluation today. Call Natalie Kessler, broker, First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida at 850-588-1025. First Choice Business Brokers of Northwest Florida is an independent franchise of First Choice Business Brokers Incorporated.
Now back to the Inside Drive, live and local from the Gulf Plus Studios. Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot. Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live inside the Golf Plus Studios. Hanging out with Alan Watson. Good to have you in studio, Alan. I know you've been busy and trying to find people to work, as a lot of other people are in our area.
Finally got that sorted.
Awesome to have you in studio today. So appreciate you joining us, and of course appreciate you sponsoring our studio here on the Inside Drive. And you've got some pretty cool goodies out here on the table. Let's start with the Masters stuff that you're probably one of the few places, probably golf course and golf shop wise in our area that's able to get some of this really cool Masters swag.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff here. We've got a pimento cheese towel here. This is great, and they've taken off on the flag, the Augusta flag theme, so it's hilarious. That's great. Then we've got a beautiful pins and aces.
That thing's fantastic.
Yeah. Pimento cheese again, but this is a blade cover. Nice magnets and everything, so it's nice heavy duty. It's not going to shred apart like the Velcro ones do. Got a $100 gift card here for your winner for whatever. Woo. And then these are Vice Golf does limited editions for every major. So there we've got a little heritage, got a nice putting line that's in green. We've got just a beautiful logo. These are just really classy. We got a tree on the back there. So these are going to be something that somebody might want to play with, or they might just want to stick them aside, whatever. But
it's beautiful because you got a dozen, so maybe they can play with a sleeve and keep the rest, or whatever they want to do. So we'll do the pimento cheese towel, the putter head cover, and the awesome golf balls, as well as a $100 gift card, guys, to Golf Plus right here in Panama City Beach or up there in Dothan. So all you got to do is, if you look at our live show today, I put the link in the comments, but it's also just posted on our ESPN Northwest Florida wall. And obviously, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I've posted there as well. All you got to do is create an account at masters.com, join that group. You pick a player from each category. You don't even have to know golf to do this. Just dive in there. We want to get as many contestants as we can. And with this prize package worth well over $200 from Golf Plus, you do not want to miss out on a free opportunity on some really cool stuff. And even, again, if you're not a golfer, you know a golfer in your life that would be absolutely spoiled to have that stuff.
Absolutely.
Alan, probably our favorite week of the year, right? Coming up, Masters
definitely
week?
For me, and for I think probably 99% of golfers. I mean,
even non-golfers tune into the Masters.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's kind of one of those unique sporting events, similar to the Kentucky Derby or similar to the Super Bowl. You know, my wife and I don't follow a lot of NFL. I know you're big into that, but we don't follow a lot of NFL. My wife's from England, so football to her is soccer.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, but we watch the Super Bowl because it's the American thing to do. So I think the Masters is kind of similar to that, and it's just beautiful, right? I mean, you haven't been there, I've been there. Yep. It's beautiful if you can see it on TV. It's beautiful if you can go there, and it's also a great sport because you always have a great field as well.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a good week, and this should be interesting to see if Scheffler can do it again, or if Rory can get it done, or who knows.
A lot of storylines in the Masters.
I mean, I'm telling you.
And there always is, and that's what makes it so awesome. But also, not a great day if you had Monday practice round tickets today, because I know yesterday they announced that due to the weather that was projected to come in, I know there was a lot of rain and storms going through kind of almost a large part of the country, that they did not open up the gates today up there at Augusta National.
Ooh, that's a bummer.
And that's one of those, unfortunate things I've seen, working in that market for 8 years. You saw that many a time, and you'd be there, lightning would be in the area, and you have to get out, and a lot of times they'd just be shut down for the whole day. So it's just one of those things. You could get tickets for a day and it still end up not being what you wanted, which is I guess can happen with any outdoor sport.
That's right.
But Alan, so what, obviously you've been to the Masters, been watching it for a long time. What's your favorite thing about either the Masters as a tournament or the Masters in general, or Augusta National Golf Club?
I think
if you can narrow it down.
I think the food is one of my favorite things. I mean, again, like you said, kind of hard to narrow down, but I think the food is one of my things. Growing up in the South, anytime you can get a barbecue sandwich and a pimento cheese sandwich and a bag of chips and a drink, all for less than $10, that's pretty amazing when you consider a beer at Yankee Stadium is probably $15 or $17.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think the food is definitely one of those iconic things. I think just the immaculate nature of the course, it's just unbelievable. You cannot imagine how clean this place is, and that's pretty impressive. And then the swag is pretty great. I mean, you've got your shirt on. I mean, there's so many great things that you can bring back for your friends and family. Although, unfortunately, that's turned into sort of a profit center for some people.
Yes.
That's kind of sad. But that's the nature of sports, so that's fine. Whatever. If I had a friend going to the Super Bowl or the World Series, I'd ask him to get me a hat too, right? So whatever.
Absolutely.
I think, but those are the things that I think. I mean, obviously the golf speaks for itself, but that's so hard to narrow down. I'm 50 years old. I've seen so many Masters at this point that I couldn't even tell you my favorite shot or my favorite moment. Although Bubba from the trees on 18, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's one of those all-time
I was to the right of that green, kind of up on the hill, almost to the cart path when we were watching him hit that one, and you see him way over there in the trees, and you hear the shot, and then all of a sudden you see the ball, and you're like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
So that it wasn't until I saw it again on a replay that you could see how much he really moved that ball.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Being left-handed, being able to hook it like that, and then you actually saw it spin up that hill, which that slope on 10 is pretty significant on that green. So pretty wild stuff. But getting back to the those prices there, at Augusta National. Clearly, no inflation going on at Augusta National. You can still get your egg salad and pimento cheese for $1.50. The barbecue Masters Club chicken salad, classic chicken, and ham and cheese, all $3. And then in the morning, obviously, you got a great option options as well with fruit, coffee, chicken biscuit. Your breakfast sandwich will cost you a whopping $3. And then, of course, beverages are all $2 for your non-alcoholic stuff. Domestic beer, $5. Import beer, $5. And, you can really go there with $20 and drink as much and eat as much as you really want.
Yeah, the last time we were there on Sunday in 19 when Tiger won.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
And my wife and I, we don't drink, but we probably spent less than $25-$30 all day, and we ate. It's just great, and people are so gracious there, and people will get up from their seats and they'll say, hey, you can sit in my seats until we get back or whatever, and when you can get up close to the golfers like you can at most events. But it's just interesting. What I find really interesting about the Masters and really any big tournament is the laser focus in these guys' eyes as they walk to that first tee. It is crazy. I mean, there are thousands of people around. It's so intense.
That first tee is so intimidating.
Yeah, and it's so shoehorned in there.
Yep.
And these guys, you'll see an Adam Scott or a Rory walk by, and it's like there's nobody there.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so tunnel vision on what they've got to do. And I think that's really something that most of us will never experience because we're not professional athletes. But I know if I had to hit that tee shot off one with all those people standing there, forget Chalmers hitting two people. I could probably hit two people in one shot.
Yeah.
Forget it, two shots.
Yep, absolutely.
I'd probably ricochet off a couple of noggins.
Well, and that first tee too, it's at one of the highest points of the golf course.
Yep.
So you're up on this kind of peak, and you don't even realize it because you're surrounded by so many people on that first tee. And the nerves. That's probably these golfers, they handle nerves so well. That's why they're doing what they do. But I got to imagine that the first tee at Augusta in a final round on Sunday, when you're maybe in contention, is probably the most nerve-wracking thing you would ever face in professional golf. Maybe a Ryder Cup kind of up there too. But
well, and especially if you're somebody who maybe this is your first or second Masters, so you still don't know the course that well, or maybe it's the first time you've ever been in contention in a big tournament. It's probably different if you're Phil Mickelson or Rory or
been there
whoever been there, done that kind of guys. But there's undoubtedly going to be somebody this year who's not going to be as experienced. They're going to get their shot, and we'll see how the pressure how it works out.
Makes me think of Smiley Kaufman when he was in that final group. I forget which year that was. He was doing some. We'd seen him a lot out there at Bay Point when he was working with Tony, and he just. What do you kind of expect to happen? I think he shot a final round 78 or maybe even 82, but it's just when you're in the final pairing at any round at Augusta, that's just a special place to be, and the nerves are certainly tough. You had mentioned, obviously, the course and knowing the course, how important that is. One of the few tournaments in professional golf, men's and women's, that professional golfers will not get rid of, but maybe abandon their normal caddy that's on tour with them and use an Augusta National caddy. How important is local knowledge at Augusta National?
Well, especially on the greens, more than anything, those greens are diabolical, and they'll change a couple of them here and there every few years. They'll mess with them.
Yeah, they'll blow up.
So having, a local knowledge, if you look at somebody like Ben Crenshaw, it worked for him. You look at several other guys that did that over the years that always switched out their caddy. Because that course is not somewhere where they can go practice all year long. Yep. They can't go a week ahead of time like they can at some places. They can't come even months in advance and scout the course. So, I think that's huge for them. If you don't play golf, you don't know how important a caddy is. But I can tell you, even not being a professional, the best round or two of my life were rounds where I had a caddy.
Yeah.
And you don't get to do that very often in golf just because it's not the way golf is set up anymore like it was 50 years ago. But when you have a caddy, and once they figure out what kind of shot shapes you hit and things like that, and your yardage is, oh my goodness, it's life-changing in terms of it gives you so much more confidence. Doesn't mean you're going to always hit your best shot, but you basically have a coach with you the whole time.
Yep.
And
Telling you,
it's great.
Here's the line, because if you never played like a Kiowa Ocean course, course or something like that, it's a very, very difficult golf course and you've never played it before, even the lines on where to hit it, you have no idea. And that's going to, like you said, it's going to provide you a better opportunity to at least have some confidence in knowing what you're doing, because the worst thing in golf you can have is just fear and no confidence when you're about to pull that club back. So just to have a little bit more confidence certainly goes a long way. Pivoting from the Masters tournament, more talking about your stores there for Golf Plus. Obviously, by Masters Week, most of the major manufacturers have released their new equipment, their drivers, their irons, whatever it may be. And most are on a year cycle. Some do a couple more times in a year. But tell us about some of the new equipment out there on the market, the big-time manufacturers. And if they want to try it, obviously they can come by your shop to check them out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. Most of the product launched at the very end of January all the way through about mid-March was kind of that 6-week window where you see all the new stuff. So Callaway's new Elite line is completely out. All their new putters are out. TaylorMade's QI35 line is out. The only thing TaylorMade has that's still yet to be released is the putter that Brian Harman won with yesterday on tour. That is a lab type putter, center shaft, lie balance type putter. So that's coming. It's big. It looks like a loaf of bread, but whatever. But that's the only thing they're still kind of working on that. But Cobra's new 33-way adjustable clubs are out. They're called DS Adapt. It's amazing technology. All the new Mizuno wedges and irons are out, and their new putters as well. Ping 440 is the new line. So everything that you want to hit is at Golf Plus. We have demos of everything. If you're thinking about getting fit for something, we definitely recommend you call ahead or go on our website and book that fitting, just because we don't have a lot of room for walk-ins because we're so busy with fittings. So, and we hate to say that to people, but it's kind of like showing up at a restaurant and you think like, well, if we get there by 6, no big deal. Yeah. And then there's like a 2-hour wait and you're like, how did this happen? So unfortunately, we are a first come, first serve store because of how limited our space is in our hitting bays. And so you definitely want to book ahead. Now, if you just want to see something, obviously we can show it to you, and if there's nobody in there, we'll let you take a few swings, but that is tough. We had a couple people show up Saturday that wanted to hit some stuff, and we were booked solid the whole day, so it just happens, especially this time of year. So, but we do have all the new demos, we have everything, and we'd love to get you fit up.
Yeah, I hear so many people that say, what type of club should I get? What do you say to people that say that?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to one of my new employees today about grips in the same vein of people. They'll come in and they'll say, hey, recommend something for me. And it's like, I can't tell you what you like.
Yes.
And I also can't tell you before you hit it what's going to work. Now, I can get a general idea. We can do a little pre-interview. Yeah. We can talk. I can see your swing. You can tell me about your scores and where you play and all that. But we've really just got to go in there and do it. And then we've got some great technology. We've got some of the same technology that the pros use out on the range. And so we're going to use that technology. We're going to use our expertise. We're going to use all that demo equipment we talked about. And we're going to hone in on what's best for you. We're brand agnostic. We don't care. We're not trying to sell you one brand over another. I don't pay my guys on commission. So they're not trying to line their pockets by pushing one brand over another. So you're going to get a very unbiased opinion.
Which is so important because
I think it is. I think, some shops may be more inclined to push one brand or another, or they may be inclined to just try to get you in and out quickly. That's just not our thing.
Yeah, you want them to play better golf.
Absolutely, because we know that the best advertising for us, besides sponsoring the Inside Drivers with Ryan Mulvey, 100%. Is that if David Hayes plays better with his new driver, then his friends are going to be like, wow, that club's really helping you. Where did you get it?
Yeah.
And then that's the conversation we want happening. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're definitely not trying to get, I always tell my guys, like, you can get one sale by being a pushy salesperson, and then you'll never see those people again.
It's not repeat.
But I don't want the one sale. I want to be able to build a relationship for a long time. Sounds cheesy, but it's true.
It is. It really carries over to any business that you're selling in.
Absolutely.
That person could end up being your best, word of mouth marketer or your worst, depending on the situation that
Absolutely.
happens. But yeah, kind of it's just so important, and I kind of beat the dead horse when it comes to getting fit for golf clubs, but everybody is different. Everybody has different hand size. Their wrist to the ground is different. Their height is different. Everything is different on each person. So one golf club is not going to work for Alan and work for me. It's going to have to be different, and you just, you don't want to go in. And golf clubs are so adjustable, and there's so much technology nowadays that you can really dial it down without having to do as much. I remember when you had the fitting carts and you had to pop out the head, find the iron, and now you just tweak it just a little bit here and there and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of that type technology, but it's because of the technology we're using, we're able to move through that process so much faster, and there's other stuff, like you said, that's not as complicated. But like we just got a new lab fitting putter for the lab putters as well, and so this is a way where people can come in and in 10, 15 minutes know that when they're spending that money, they're spending it correctly and not just randomly grabbing something off the rack. So anyway, yeah. Don't want to beat the horse, but you're right. I mean, it is important, and it's our whole business model. Yeah. I mean, we altered our business model years ago from just being a retail walk-in. We'll show it to you. You pick what you want. We ring it up. We got rid of that model years ago because we knew how important this was, and the market has completely swung in that direction.
Absolutely.
And it's just valuable. People are so happy to actually spend money and not feel like they're wasting it, right?
I mean, it's quote unquote an investment. You're investing really in your golf game, and let's be honest, golf clubs aren't cheap. So if you're going to make that investment to do some golf club purchasing, make sure it's fit right for you.
There you go.
And there's only 2 places to go to do that, and they're both owned by Alan Watson, and that's Golf Plus Dothan up there off Montgomery Highway, aka 231, and then of course down here in Panama City Beach over in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza right next to Firefly. Make an appointment. That's what I took away the most from today. He's busy fitting, getting the right clubs in the right people's hands. So if you want to do that as well, just head over to golfplusdothan.com. You can see where it says book fitting. You can choose your location, and the rest will be history. Alan, we appreciate you coming in today. We got to jump into our race to Talladega. If you are listening to the Coach James Hale Show this morning, you know what the keyword was. Hopefully you text us in, and when we get back from the break, we're going to announce your name, and the fastest time that you call us back in will be your qualifying time to win a couple tickets up to the Jack Links 500. Alan, we appreciate you, and if I don't talk to you, enjoy the Masters tournament.
All right. Thanks, you too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You listen to The Inside Drive.
Hey, this is David Hayes, and I want to invite you to Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar Monday evening at 6:30 for the National Championship and some good old crawfish. The locals know where to go to get their fix for the best seafood boil in town. That's Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. We'll give away t-shirts and other swag. Plus, what goes better with championship hoops than crawfish and cold beverages? Monday night, 6:30. Come enjoy the evening at Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar in beautiful downtown Panama City.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Hi folks, it's Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Did you know that we have a master jeweler right here in the store? That's right, she has over 20 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within a week, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into a new setting and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 50 years.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and Hometown Towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Broadcasting from the Golf Plus Studios, it's The Inside Drive. From the beach to the bay to the backyard, It's the Inside Drive.
I've got sand in my underpants.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'll make sure I announce the name prior to the break. I got to get back into the swing of things as well.
No, I like this is.
This is the preferred method. Yes, yeah. Okay, gotcha. Maybe I need to get better at listening as well. But again, if you didn't see the prize from that last segment, you want to make sure you jump all over that. But first, before I go into a little more detail on that, let's announce the name from this morning. If you're near your phone, all you got to do is give us a call, 850-215-6290. Jackson State. Jeff, give us a call. How quickly you get to us will be your qualifying time. Let's set the bar real high. All right, I'm going to keep talking about good stuff, Jackson State Jeff. He was ready to rock and roll. Rock and roll. Good stuff. I know he's on the line right now. David's getting his qualifying time. We'll keep this going all the way through April 18th will be your last time to do it. We got Jackson State Jeff on the line. Jackson State Jeff, how are you, my friend?
Man, doing well. How's it going, guys?
We're doing good. That was good. You were ready to go. You probably had 850-215-6290 already on the dial, and boom, knocked it out. David, what was that qualifying time there?
2 seconds.
Woo! Setting that bar high. You know, the overall fastest time will also get a couple tickets to see the incredible Talladega Garage experience. Jackson State Jeff, have you been to Talladega before?
Actually, man, I want to win this bag because it's a bucket list thing. Never been to a NASCAR.
Man, that would be awesome. And, I mean, this is a heck of a one to go to as well. Not only do you get to go to the race on Sunday, but like I said, if you end up being first, you get to go to the garage experience, but you can see the 2 races on Saturday as well. So what a weekend that would be, the final weekend of the month.
Well, and on top of all of that, if Houston ends up winning the national championship, he'll win the bracket, I believe.
Afros and elbows.
No. Houston. Afros and elbows had Florida winning. I love it, Jackson State Jeff.
Gotcha. Oh, that reminds me.
I feel like I'm the honey because I won last year.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Trying to go.
Wait, you won last year too?
Yes, I'm going back to back.
Oh heck no! All right, let's go Florida. Because and your wife won. What was it, like 3 years ago?
Yeah. And actually, I was proud that I beat her this year.
Yeah, I know, right? But back to back, or possibly back to back, and being on top in the household again. I know that was it got you down the first year.
Man, I need to consult you before I make any bets. That's for sure. I mean, trying to go back to back in the and obviously this one a lot more challenging as this time we had 100 and how many do we have?
158.
158 to last year's 103. So beating even more competition. But yeah, you're currently 10th, but again, you got Houston winning. So if Houston wins, I know you get a bunch for that final pick. So obviously, maybe you'll be going home with lots of prizes here from ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll certainly have to see. What do you think about that game tonight, Jackson State, Jeff? How do you think it's going to go? You think it's going to be low scoring, or you think Houston's defense is going to be able to slow down Florida's offense?
Well, actually, I picked Auburn to be in this position and to Houston to beat Auburn.
Okay, gotcha.
So with it being Florida, I mean, it's a tale of two styles. You got up and down Florida versus a half-court grinded out Houston. I'm just sort of leaning toward maybe the.
Hey, Jackson State Jeff, can you turn off whatever you're listening to, like radio or whatever? We got a little bit of an echo.
Talk about that.
You good?
Yeah, I'm backing on the guys, the old guys, to try to just band together and win one for Clutch City, as they call it.
I like it. Well, obviously, don't forget, if you're looking for a place to watch it, Lone Star Boil House tonight, ESPN Northwest Florida, be giving away even more stuff, including maybe some Braves tickets. But we appreciate you listening to the show, and obviously, stay tuned. David, can they enter more than once when it comes to the Talladega race?
Let me get clarification on that this afternoon, and we'll get back to
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I was just going to tell them, continued luck. But
I don't make the rules. I just follow them.
I understand that all too well.
If Houston wins, it's Jackson State Jeff. If Florida wins, it's Dave Neat. So that's how it's going down.
Hey, nice and simple.
It's all or nothing for me. I win it all. If I lose, I'm probably who knows what place.
But you got a chance to win, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, that's what's going to make it fun. I plan on being the Boyle House tonight, so.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I know some of us will be there. I've got one kid playing sports in town, one kid playing sports on the beach, so we're dividing and conquering this afternoon. But I know it's going to be a heck of a time. Lone Star does a wonderful job, fantastic crawfish, and a massive television there for the men's national championship. Jackson State, Jeff, congratulations on your quick qualifying time, setting the bar pretty high early on this contest. But we appreciate you listening. Go ahead.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I think you guys have had this kind of competition going on for a couple races before.
Yeah.
What was it like the winning qualifying times in those previous, you guys know? Yeah.
I mean, around this, 1 to 2 seconds, and it's kind of hard to say that anything is 1 second because as soon as I hit that timer, you know what I mean? 1 second's already kind of elapsed right there. So 2 seconds is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I would feel pretty comfortable if I was in your position.
But I do believe in the past that that we did have multiple qualifiers. How it works is y'all text in, and then I put all the names into a random wheel generator. Click on that, and it pops up, and I just announce that name. So I'll get clarification and see if we can enter into this contest multiple times. But 2 seconds, I'd feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. You may discourage some other participants, but hopefully not. Hopefully not. Well, we appreciate you listening, and of course appreciate you calling in, and good luck tonight to Houston for you to bring home that potential trophy as well.
Great show, guys.
We appreciate it very, very much. All right, David Hayes, I want to talk a little bit more about that Ovechkin and Gretzky goal competition, kind of breaking it down per 100 goals. Got some interesting information here. So, career goals 1 to 100. Wayne Gretzky did it in 143 games. Alex Ovechkin did it in 167. So Gretzky obviously started a little fast. It's kind of crazy. 143 games and you score 100 goals. That's almost a goal every 3/4 of a game, something like that.
And they both kind of played in different parts of their career in a higher scoring NHL. Like the NHL kind of seems to go like every 10 years. All right, we're going to be high in scoring, and then then we're going to tighten up and make it more of a defensive game.
Absolutely. And then 100 to 200. It only took Wayne Gretzky 98 more games to get to that number, and took Alex Ovechkin 130. Goals 200 to 300, 109 for Wayne Gretzky, 178 for Alex Ovechkin. 300 to 400, only 87 for Gretzky, 162 for Alex Ovechkin. And here's where it starts to level out. 400 to 500, it took Gretzky 140 games, took Alex Ovechkin 168. 500 to 600, Gretzky at 144, Ovechkin at 190, and then 600 to 700, Gretzky at 169, Ovechkin at only 155. And then this is the wild one. So basically, Ovechkin was behind Gretzky all the way up until goals 600 to 700, and then goals 700 to 800. It took Gretzky 231, and only took Alex Ovechkin 162. And then 800 to 894 took Gretzky 364 games, which is a little over 4 years or 4 seasons of hockey, and only took Alex Ovechkin 182. So it's almost, I don't want to say Gretzky didn't get as good towards the end of his career, but Ovechkin certainly got better at goal scoring. Not better at goal scoring, but at least consistently improving. Obviously, Gretzky probably had a ton of assists.
I was about to say, he was setting everyone up at that point in time. And you know, there's so many what ifs to do with this as well, because if Wayne Gretzky stays in Edmonton, is he scoring a ton more goals? You know, it's at the end of the day, it's awesome how aligned the numbers are when it comes to the goal scoring.
Yep.
You still just have to respect the greatness of the great one and what Wayne Gretzky brought to the game as a overall hockey player, and then also Ovechkin getting that record and just staying with the Capitals for his whole career.
The entire career.
It's just two different kind of storylines, and it's really awesome to be able to, at least in my lifetime, witness this. And for the people who've been watching hockey for a long time, I wasn't keeping up with hockey when Wayne Gretzky originally broke the record, right? But how special that was, and then to see the interaction between Wayne Gretzky and Ovechkin, really awesome.
Classy guys, no doubt, no doubt. The Battle of the Bets tonight, that continues on Hard Rock Bets. All you got to do is bet a minimum of $1, and if you win that bet, you obviously win the bet, but you also get a bonus bet as well. Tonight, your two options in the Florida versus Houston game, one is Florida to win and 143 total points or more, or Houston to win and 143 total points scored in that game. I don't know if they'll get to 143 points. I mean, that's what, 72, 72 would be the over. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. So it's almost kind of, usually they do an over and an under. This time they did it paired with Florida to win or Houston to win and 143 total points. David, what are your thoughts on the national championship coming up tonight?
For me, I think it's just enjoy the game.
Yeah.
It's like UConn and Purdue last year, where it felt like it was going to be a better championship. I believe it was UConn and Purdue, right? It was definitely
UConn. Yes, because UConn won. Yeah, I believe Purdue was there with Zach Edey.
And that game was a blowout. So yeah. I hope as Jackson State Jeff brought up the difference in the styles that they play. I think that'll be something interesting to watch. I really think that the underrated aspect of what Houston brings to the table, when it's almost like Mike Evans, like there's really no reason that they should be underrated. They played great ball. Not even just this year. Coach Sampson has been, bringing that program to the right area where they need to be. But on the flip side of that, Florida, they've looked really great. But then there's been times where it's like, this isn't the same team I'm watching. Then they find a way to win the game. So if I had to pick Florida, because there's just something about the ball bouncing the right way for you. Who do I want to win though? I'm going with the Cougars.
The Cougars. You always going with the Cougars one way or the other.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. But yes, should be a fantastic game coming up tonight. Two number one seeds battling it out for the national championship. And all you got to do is head over to Lone Star Boil House at about 7 o'clock. I
think we're going to be there 6:30. I'm going to try to get there about 6:30. I highly doubt I'm going to be staying until 7:59 for the game. I wish that they'd... why? Or 7:50, whatever time it is.
It's kind of like the...
Goodness gracious, why do we got this thing starting so late? I know it's a basketball game, and you want to give everybody an opportunity to watch it, but play it on a different day than Monday, dadgummit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like to be the theme in men's college sports anyway, playing national championships on Mondays. But, hey, neither here nor there. Let me give you the betting information. About as close as you want it to be. Florida is a 1.5-point favorite. Over under on the line in Hard Rock Bets is 141.5. Whew. That's a tight window matchup there. But Terry, I know you were asked.
Who's your picks? Put me on the spot.
I know.
Hey, that's what the beautiful thing is about being the host. Sometimes you can just sneak stuff in and be like, all right, I'm not going to put my opinion on the line right here.
I mean, I almost want Florida to win because they beat Auburn in the semis.
I know what you mean,
but. Because that doesn't justify it, but it makes it not so harsh. And has Houston ever won a national championship?
If they did, it was in the 80s, but I think that I want to say that Houston lost to UNLV.
All right, I'm going to look it up real quick. National, because if they didn't, then I want them to win.
That's where I'm coming from, and without having looked it up, that's where I'm coming from, is I don't think that they've
Houston
got one.
has never won a title.
Yeah.
Though they do have a rich history.
I think with, what was it, Phi Slamma Jamma, right? That was Houston.
Yep, absolutely. So, you know what? I'll go with Houston just because they've never won one before. So, not that, that makes it not as important for Florida that they've won one before, but always good to see a new emergent guy.
Couple of things real quick. Going back to the afternoon delight, I can't find to tell you catching an emu that doesn't want to be caught is a hard task. Did it many times when he worked at Turtleback Zoo in West Orange, New Jersey.
Ooh.
Love the show. Go Devils.
Oh, go Devils. There you go. West Orange, New Jersey.
Jackson State, Jeff, if you're still listening, text me. I need your information.
Oh, yes. West Orange. There was West Orange Country Club, which is where we play the Iron Hills Conference Championship there for the Roxbury golf team. But don't forget, join that Masters pool. It's in the show, in the comments, also posted on our feed as well. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. National Championship, Lone Star Boil House, but also right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be back tomorrow. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday.